Yeah, excellent stuff. They're all looking at Tom's arse, that's why.
Yeah, I put on Twitter I was coming, so that might be the reason why.
No surprise, no surprise. Yeah, Bill.
1:30 Tony, guys.
We'll see. No one likes that end of the stand. Very definite. Yeah. Someone's just dropped their guts on that end of the stand. The guy just casually leaning against the crush barrier. Just dropped his guts. So good. Hello and welcome to Exeter. Yesterday, of course, all eyes were on the big rugby cathedrals of the Northern Hemisphere as the home unions took on their counterparts from the south. Today's Sunday service comes from the Church of Sandy Park, a slightly smaller stage but no less important. It's an Anglo-Welsh clash between the Chiefs and the Cardiff Blues. They had met each other before. That game ended in a draw. The guys from Devon will want to ensure victory today. They kicked off their Anglo-Welsh campaign last weekend and that ended in defeat. Now our bright young thing in BT Sport colours is Rob Bickham, former England Sevens captain. He is with some of the Exeter Chiefs boys in their dressing room.
So here we are, broke the fortress of Sandy Park and we are in the changing room, exclusively looking around, players getting ready before the game. Some 2 or 3 hours before the game they arrive, and in the corner here we have got Ollie Atkins, no less, who's just managed to avoid the naked Hayden Thomas in the corner. A tournament normally associated with a bit of young pups, but certainly in this corner here I've got a few of the older boys. Does it really change pre-game for these types of games?
No, I can't really say that we change too much, leading into any sort of game. So everyone has their own little their things that they do and the way they like to prepare. So it's all pretty relaxed at the moment, but we'll be switching in pretty soon.
Okay, and with that little things that you do differently, what are your real focuses before a game?
I try to stay pretty relaxed, to be fair. Come in here, have a quick coffee and relax, go over the things that I need to do for the game and just get myself in a good headspace, really.
We hear a bit of the music in the background here. We've got some older campaigners here, 35 yourself, pushing 30 with some young pups as well. Who gets to be in charge of the music?
It's usually Sam Hills, our resident DJ, but he's had a bit of a shocker the last couple of weeks, so I'm not too sure. I think it's someone's Spotify on there at the moment, so I'm not too sure who's actually involved with it. But it's good tunes. We've got some good tunes banging in the background, so it's getting everyone pretty fired up.
Cool, and with that, big game for yourself ahead of pushing for first team honours further. You've got some serious support here with you, no less than 30 people on tour with your face as masks.
Yeah, I've only actually just heard of this. My brother plays for Belsize Park Rugby Club up in London, and they're all down here on a rugby tour playing Topsham rugby. So they've all decided to come to the game, and there's a bit of support for the Chiefs out there today.
Best of luck with it, Ollie. Thanks very much for chatting to us. Cheers.
Thank you.
Well, for the visitors, Cardiff Blues, this will be their first outing in the tournament this season. They've travelled with a largely unproven, very inexperienced squad. They'll be looking to the spine of Kirby Myhill at hooker, Jared Evans at outside half, and Reid Williams at fullback to provide the spark for the rest to fire off. Exeter started their Anglo-Welsh journey with a close-fought, entertaining loss, though, to Harlequins at the Stoop. Ricky Pello has gone for a blend of youth and experience. In his squad today, there is some serious tonnage up front. So kick-off in the Anglo-Welsh Cup, just under a quarter of an hour's time. It's Exeter Chiefs against the Cardiff Blues, live here on BT Sport. Well, a very warm welcome to Sandy Park for our first genuine Anglo-Welsh encounter, and I'm delighted to say a man who lifted this trophy many years ago. Tom Shanklin, star of the Cardiff Blues, and Wales, of course, a very warm welcome. Now let's look at this Anglo-Welsh. Where does it fit in the calendar? Autumn internationals, Premiership, Pro 12, European rugby. Where does this fit in?
I think teams view it differently. Some see it as a way to get some form going into their domestic league. Others see it as a chance to blood some youngsters, and I think that's what we're seeing from the Cardiff Blues. 10 players or so away on Welsh duty or have not been released. Others have been given a break because of the league and the structure of the league. So this is why we're seeing a blend of youth really today, and they look like the cast out of Grange Hill, I think.
They did look like a school on tour as they walked in just behind the Exeter Chiefs team, who were significantly bigger. We'll look into the selection in just a little while, but of course this is one of two games today. There have been other matches as well, of course, in the Anglo-Welsh. There's a big win for the Scarlets over Bath, 44-21. Harlequins maintain their 100% record in this competition with a narrow victory on the road at the Ospreys. And how significant could that be for Bristol? Their first win of the season, all the turmoil there down at Ashton Gate, a victory for them 26-11 over the Sale Sharks. Saracens back to winning ways with victory over Newcastle. Northampton are 2 from 2 with their victory over Gloucester, as are Leicester, 42 points to 3 victors over the Dragons. Wasps play Worcester today, and our live game, of course, here, Exeter Chiefs against the Blues. Well, Ricky Pello, he's the man in charge of the Exeter Chiefs today. He has gone for a blend of youth and experience. Welch, White, Johnson are big old units up front. Plenty of miles on the clock. Will Chudley at scrum half will guide young Joe Simmons at outside half. Michele Campagnaro is back at 13. So, Tom Shanklin, names that we recognise there in the Exeter Chiefs team. Yeah. Not too many names you're going to recognise in the Blues. Talk us through some of these young pups.
No, we're not. Well, you've got Dylan Lewis, Wales under 20s tight head there. You've got Jared Evans at 10. He's had a little bit of first team experience, and they'd be looking for him to guide them around the field. You've also got, you mentioned before, Green Williams at 15, an incredible talent, certainly one to watch. And it's games like this where you get to see how good players actually can be.
Important as well to put this in context. You lifted this trophy, I said, back in 2009. Names that we now see in Welsh jerseys, in Lions jerseys, we think, well, they're legends of the game. They had to start somewhere. For a lot of them, they started here in this competition. Important to remember, Lee Halfpenny, Jamie Roberts, hadn't been heard of before, but this was their stage.
Yeah, they certainly did. You know, back in 2009, when you won, Lee Halfpenny basically made his name playing in this Anglo-Welsh tournament. So much so that the Cardiff Blues this week have been showing them highlights, showing this team, this young team, highlights of the 2009 victory, just to try and inspire them. And hopefully, you know, we'll see them come through today, and you know, it gives them something to look forward to, and possibly, you know, we could see some of the stars of the future today.
This is a perfect stage for them, but they're up against, certainly for the Cardiff Blues, up against some gnarled old units in the Exeter Chiefs. Let's look at the two back rows, and if you consider Ben White, Tom Johnson, these guys are very experienced, up against Cardiff Blues back row, which certainly can't match them for experience or size.
No, you're right, they can't. I mean, you've got James Sheeky at 8, who was a very good carrier. He's been riddled a little bit with injury, and he'll want to get back on the front foot carrying ball. But what you have got with the Cardiff Blues is bags and bags of youth and experience. They will run around, they will challenge everything, they'll just try and, you know, disrupt ball as much as they can. They might not lack the size, and they will lack the size of the Exeter pack, but, you know, in terms of enthusiasm, you won't get higher.
Michele Campagnaro comes back for the Exeter Chiefs. Again, bags of experience. What's he going to bring?
Yeah, you won't want to be marking him today. He's been injured for a while. He's back now. Fairly short and solid bloke, but ball in hand, a huge threat. Pretty powerful leg drive, and he'll want to try and make outside breaks. So the Blues have got their hands full, but this is what it's all about. You know, it's about looking towards the next generation of players, and we've certainly got that on show today with the Blues.
We had a bit of a Welsh language lesson in the team bus before we came out for the broadcast. Green Williams, yes. That's how you pronounce it.
That's
so
correct.
We now know what his name is. Tell us about him.
Yeah, very young, 15, does play a little bit on wing. He's been with the Welsh squad all week, so he's going to come back to the Blues here full of confidence, very elusive, very raw talent, a natural footballer, and you know, he is going to make it. It's just about when he does.
Great stuff. Well, an opportunity for the young players to force the coach's hand, put themselves in the spotlight. Opportunity as well for some of the younger coaches or people not always in charge of the team to have their moment. Richard Hodges, Ricky Pello, they're the men in charge today. They were talking with Rob Vickerman.
Okay, Ricky, a lot mentioned in this tournament around the development of players, but yourself as a skills coach getting a chance to lead the team, how's it been for you?
Yeah, it's been really exciting. I've headed up for the last sort of 3 years now, so from that perspective, it does give the opportunity for young players to play, but also young coaches. So it's been a real good couple of weeks. The result wasn't what we looked for last week, but we've rebuilt and we've had a really good training week, and we're ready for the game today.
There's no better man, the Elite Performance Pathway Manager, to tell us how important it is, this game, for the young players on show today.
Yeah, it's massive. We just spoke in the room then about making sure they work hard for one another. I think it's been a bit of a culmination of several months' work for them. They've played some club rugby. They've had a bit of British and Irish Cup as well. That's really been the audition leading to today.
Tough situation for Exeter at the moment, winless in the last 6. From a wider perspective, how important is this game?
Obviously, in terms of the competition, we need to get a win under our belts, and if we can get a good performance and get a win home, that'll get us back in this competition, and any win, I think, will get a bit of excitement back into the club.
You've got an average age of 20, including one guy still at school, Ben Jones, so what should we expect?
Yeah, we've got a couple of boys at schools. We've had several conversations with headmasters and headmistresses this week to get them out for training. But again, it's just drip feeding them at the right time. We feel today is the right time for them to be exposed. Some of them have only played 1 or 2 games of senior rugby, let alone at this level. But let's see how they go. They're the future of our region. I think there's 19 out of the 23 are homegrown who've come through the pathway. But we also have 10 boys in our starting team today who've played Pro 12. So we do have that little bit of experience. 4 of our front 5 have played front 12. So that's an area where we think if I can get a foothold in the game in that front 5 in different facets of the game, potentially the scrum, get some points off the back of that, then hopefully get that scoreboard ticking over.
Brilliant. Best of luck. Thank you.
Cheers, Rob.
Such an exciting opportunity for these young players, a big major competition. Now, Tom Shanklin may have won this back in 2009, but for an old man he showed a phenomenal turn of pace to get up to the commentary team. Time to hand over to him, and to a man who couldn't sound any more Welsh if he tried. Welcome, Gareth Rhys Owen.
Thanks, Martin. If the name doesn't give it away, I'm sure the accent will. Welcome to the game. Should be a good one this afternoon as well. 2 proud sides, 2 former winners of this competition. And the Exeter side that won the competition a few years ago, still remembered around these parts. A decade of graft it took to get there. Was the Cardiff Blues side that smashed Gloucester in the 09 final, contained the likes of Halfpenny Roberts and a certain Tom Shanklin. Well, this young Exeter side is coached by Ricky Pello. He'll be relieved that Phil Dolman has recovered from the knock that forced him off against the Quins. 18 months ago, Michele Campagnaro was lighting up the Six Nations, but his chances were limited last season. He starts his first game of this campaign. At halfback, Will Chudley is partnered by Joe Simmons, who looked very sharp after being given an unexpected opportunity off the bench last weekend. The front row has 1 first-team appearance between the lot, but there's plenty of grunt in the back row in Tommy Johnson and Ben White. The Australian spent 5 seasons back in Cardiff. Elite Performance Manager Richard Hodges steers the Welsh ship, and he has a backline with a sprinkling of first-team experience. Fullback Reen Williams sparkled in last weekend's win over Treviso, and he's been training with the Wales squad this week. Captain Garen Smith is partnered with the exciting Harry Millard in midfield, and much of the Blues' success will depend on the talented fly half Jared Evans. Up front, Myhill and Down offer much needed experience, and it's worth keeping an eye on the tight head Dylan Lewis, a youngster who's made more than held his own in the Pro 12 so far this campaign and last season. Well, Tom, talking about the Blues' lack of experience, the decision was made last summer to cull the reservists, those mid-level players, the 26-year-olds, should we say. Now the Blues are left with elite players and the academy, much like the Exeter players. This is an opportunity for the youngsters to prove themselves.
Yeah, this is a huge opportunity for these youngsters. We said earlier, we saw them walking in and could not believe actually how young and youthful these players are. But this is what it's about. This is about blood in youngsters for the next generation of Welsh players. And you know, this is a perfect competition, a perfect opportunity to see whether they can make that step up between academy and up to elite regional rugby.
But it's a big ask for the Blues, in particular these youngsters, because the experienced lineup has that touch of experience.
It is a big ask, but the only way you get better is playing against the best, really. They've got that in Exeter today. Exeter put a very, very strong first team out, so huge opportunity for these youngsters.
Yes, and it's going to be a very emotional afternoon here at Sandy Park. Some important scenes to be seen here as well, and it is time for the club and the whole rugby community to pay its respect to those who lost their lives in the battlefield. Very poignant ceremony held in the club this lunchtime, led by Commander Robert Dunn for the Royal Naval College in Dartmouth, remembering the 20 plus Exeter players and officials who perished in both wars. Cardiff too lost many a brave soul and has a very proud history of war heroes. They include the likes of the 50 centre partnership, the great Prince of Centres, Bleddyn Williams, and his partner, Dr. Jack Matthews. And then there's the graced Les Manfield, a man who was honoured with a distinguished Flying Cross. He actually skippered a Welsh side against the rest of the world 15 in Alexandria, Egypt, during the war in 1945. The rugby community unite as one. It's an emotional afternoon here for all involved, and Sandy Park stands respectful and awaits the key emotive time when we will pay our respect and remember those who are lost and those who still have to suffer the memories of those horrors, lest we forget.
In the service of mankind. They shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. When you go home, tell them of us and say, your tomorrow we gave our today. Let us pray. Almighty and eternal God, from whose love in Christ we cannot be parted, either by death or life, hear our prayers and thanksgiving for all who we've remembered this day. Fulfill in them the purpose of your love, and bring us all with them to the eternal joy through Jesus Christ our Lord and Saviour. Amen.
That was the Reverend Simon Atkinson, supported by the cadets from the Britannia Royal Naval College. And one thing to be said, it's a long time to be stood still for the players, but it couldn't be any better in terms of conditions. Even the West Country breeze has taken a nap this afternoon. A glorious afternoon for what should be an open game of rugby, Tom Shanklin.
Yes, it was, and what a lovely sign of respect there. Deadly silence here for 2 minutes, and you're right, Gareth, conditions are absolutely perfect. Normally this stadium is associated with a big wind blowing right to left, but nothing. Calm today, perfect conditions, the pitch looks great, even the sun's out.
Luke Pearce takes charge. Very soon he'll be in charge of France against Samoa in a fortnight's time. And it's also a proud day today for Claire Daniels, the first female assistant in this competition. There she is. So it's the Chiefs against the Blues in the West Country sun, and Jared Evans knows a big game ahead of him and his fellow Welsh youngsters. Here we go then. We're away. And a nice early touch to Bodley. What a decent game last week against the Quins. Welch, the former Blue himself. An early intention from the Chiefs, but that didn't quite go to plan.
No, it didn't. Looked like the space was out there. That man Whitten wanted the ball, but just seemed to flop out of Phil Dolman's hands. Here we are, look, you can see the space out there, plenty of width. The next step, not quite sure what he's doing there. It looks like he wants to dummy it.
Well, time and time again, we do see that ambition pays off from your own 22, but it's risky stuff.
It is risky stuff, but funnily enough, attacking from your own 22, there is plenty of space out there because you have so many players on the defending team back. It just gives this guy now a really good opportunity to put 3 points on the board.
20+ games for the Blues for Jared Evans. Short run up. He's already turned on his heels. He's a happy man, and so the Blues.
That's a dream start for the Blues. So much inexperience here. They'll be looking to that guy there, Jared Evans, to run the show for him. He's had a little bit of experience, first team with the Blues. He won't be too phased by this, and he wants to bring a bit of direction to this team.
Beautifully weighted restart from Joe Simmons, who looked very impressive last week. Came on after only 8 minutes. After an injury to Will Hooley, thanks to a big hit by Luamanu. He's had 5 weeks off for his trouble as well. Again, it's Blues possession. It is scrappy and slow. And again, it's the home side who are penalised.
On the floor.
Perfect kick there from Blues 9. Dane Blacker just gave James Bill something to chase out. He got out off the floor into the air.
Not the best of angles for Jared Evans here. You want to get over the touchline first. He's done a decent job.
Both have got the ball in the hand. You can see James Bill there just trying to roll, turn the right way. Dolman's got to get out of there when the ball's on the floor.
Kirby Myhill. Good quick ball, but it's off the front of the line, so therefore defence is waiting for it. A little bit more organised, but they get over the gain line and they're in the red zone. Great angle in midfield. Shiki! Oh, what a start for the Blues. And Sandy Park is silenced.
What a start. Look at his face. Perfect start by James Sheeky. We said at the top of the programme, this guy will want to get the ball in his hands, he'll want to carry. He's had a couple of injuries. Lovely hands there by Kirby Myhill. Just that sleight of hand moves the defence. A huge hole opened up for Sheeky.
It's difficult to resist the cheeky pun, isn't it? With a name like Cheeky. But this was one cheeky angle.
Look at that, great hands there from Myhill. All the defence drawn into Kirby Myhill.
Yes, Rob Baxter slightly surprised by this start.
Cardiff, use it.
The Blues outside the 22, so no point going straight to touch for Jared Evans. He goes for the grass cutter, and that finds safety as well. Everything going for the Blues so far.
It's 4.5 minutes so far has all been Cardiff Blues.
Moulton to Welch. Looking to stabilise things. Get their hands on the ball. Use the power of the second rows and the back row in particular for Exeter. That's where the real difference is in terms of experience between both sides.
Extra last once.
Things have settled a little bit.
You've had once, 9.
Ben White at the back, been buoyed by Chudley and the rest of the Sandy Park faithful. Aggressive defence again, up quickly. Forces Campagnaro back inside. Crawls on the floor as well, does the Italian. First real attack for Exeter here. Simmons spots a gap. White, lovely angle in midfield from Simmons and the offload. Quick ball needed here for the Chiefs. They look to spread to Moulton. Moulton with a pop pass on the crash. Comes the big prop. Owlett, inches short. Blues look to spoil, and it's a try. There's Moulton, the hooker, who got there in the end. And immediately the Chiefs hit back.
Lovely work try there by the Chiefs. You're thinking, could it be one of those days where the Cardiff Blues run right over them, but no, their first attacking opportunity they get. Lovely, keeping the ball in hand there, the offload, changing the point of attack. And there just crawls over 2 inches to score a try. All came from a line out, and an incredible drive from the Exeter team.
Easy for Simmons, and the Chiefs are right back in this one.
Let's hope this opening 7 minutes has set the tone for the rest of the game. Really exciting.
Right, let's pause for a breath. And that's the call there, I think, from the Chiefs. Look for some safety, slow this game down, and try and figure out what exactly has happened in the first 7.5 minutes.
In terms of a kick-off, you won't get much better than that. Deep into the Exeter 22, not much of an angle there. Matt Bodley to kick, and the Blues get a real good opportunity now, just outside the 22.
Down, a little bit scrappy. So Dane Blacker. Zero experience at this level for Blacker. Plenty of others in the same situation. Dylan Lewis, we've highlighted him already. Sheeky, scorer of the first try, powerful young man as well. And now Evans, back inside on the crash. A little bit scrappy and messy in midfield. And he went forward in the end. And I suppose, having been treated so much entertainment, we'll allow one or two mistakes.
Yeah, we'll allow them that, but forget this Blues team, they wouldn't have played together too much, they would have been thrown together a bit like a Barbar's team would have been. So you are going to get some little basic errors from them. And this is going to be the big test for them, the set piece, the scrums, the lineouts.
Well, I know the Blues are backing this front row in Thayer and Lewis.
Fine.
The stats.
Stand up.
Well,
No. Lads, no
The
free
stats.
kick. Happens again, it's a free kick.
free kick.
Good effort, let's go again, eh? Come on, rebind, let's go. No pre-engage.
It's Richard Hodges in charge of the Blues during this competition. Been with Wales under 20s and on the 7 circuit. I'm sure Rob knows him well. A proud Yorkshireman as well.
Fine. Pre-engage, loose set, Cardiff.
And the Blues are penalised. And away goes Johnson. He'll be chomping at the bit. Get an opportunity to impress. Good speed at the breakdown for the Chiefs here. Apologies for the language you might have heard there over the mic. Step, goose step from Compagnaro, wasn't held down. The offload doesn't go to hand. There's a chance perhaps for an advantage here for the Blues if they take it.
Use it, Cardiff! No advantage, knock-on's back here. Yeah.
Yeah, Damien Welsh there couldn't quite hold the ball. You watch Campagnaro here, gets so low. Jared Evans just makes a half attempted tackle, but he gets back on his feet, looking to offload.
Remember, the action doesn't stop here at the final whistle as today the entertainment continues.
That's what happens when you offload, when backs offload to forwards. They don't expect it.
As Danny's disco bouncing out the hits in the wigwam bar. There'll be free treatment offered throughout the evening, and don't forget we have extra late
Jared Evans
to get you back safely.
will be coming off for a few minutes. Sludge change.
Extra put in, you go to space. The hook is fine. This guy's not.
Looks like it might be his lip there.
I couldn't
Just gets his head in the wrong position. Trying to tackle Campagnaro.
Let's go. That's blood.
Ben Jones is a busy man because today he's on the field, tomorrow he'll be back in school. That's what you've got in the Anglo-Welsh competition.
He will be, but his Twitter following should be higher after today. But what a day for him, what a day for his family to watch him making the step up.
And this is a real tester. Talk about man against boys.
Set. Stand up. Time off. Lads, right. Don't you dare.
Let's listen here.
Fellas, we're not scrummaging like that. We're not doing it. Any pressure like that, it's a free kick. Let's get on with scrummaging. Let's go.
Well, Luke Pearce stamping his authority early doors. He needs to nip this in the bud, doesn't he?
Does. It's a free kick on the first scrum. This one's just gone down. His advice was just get on with scrummaging. Simple as that. Push.
Fine.
Put your head in there and push.
Set.
Down it goes again. Yes, and that was inevitable. The Blues front row was crumbling, and it's the Exeter front eight who are celebrating.
Booker, nothing after the whistle.
First line out, we saw they had a Very long drive, a 25-metre drive. Pretty sure we're going to see the same again now. You know, and that's where you see the real difference between, you know, a well-drilled seasonal team and a group of youngsters put together.
We know what to expect here. Welch, part one done. Now the little wait before the squeeze. Moulton's already got one, he's looking for a second, but this is slightly better from the Blues defensively. Right, back comes the tank, still rolling. Hits the deck. And there'll be a penalty, so there's a chance for nothing here for the Chiefs. Welch within the metre. Still not quite over. Moulton, he's looking for a second, got one already, not this time. There's a pattern emerging here. It's the power of the Chiefs' front five. But this time held out, but it's a penalty, and I think we know what's happening here.
9 was part of it.
Shot at goal, maybe? No, yeah. They'll keep the trend going. As a lot closer in now. The Blues will really have to either sack this really early or get a counter drive on straight away.
We have seen teams competing in recent months in this exact situation.
It's a little bit riskier to compete because obviously you've got people off the ground and people lifting, but sometimes you can take them by surprise.
But the common thought has been traditionally, if you're on your own 5-metre line, stand still and sack that drive immediately.
Yeah.
We've got the
oh look, it's not Sam Warburton, it's his twin brother Ben Warburton.
It's the better looking brother of the two. They are twins, as you can see. Born with a Warburton nose. You know, Sam didn't get that by playing rugby, he inherited it off his old man.
For the half-time challenge.
Okay, we know what to expect. The question is, will it work? The Blues are looking to send the drive towards the touchline. This looks inevitable, and the referee goes for it himself. It's a penalty try. I think they got there anyway, but Blues are punished, and it's another try and a yellow card against the Blues. It's a double whammy for the Welsh side. Kirby Myhill, the hooker, who takes one for the team, but that was real worst case scenario for the Blues.
Professional foul. Initially the Blues got a brilliant counter drive against Exeter, but Exeter held their shape. And worst case scenario, penalty try and a yellow card. Just makes it more difficult now for the Blues. You can watch now. Look at the Blues initially, great drive trying to take them out of touch, but Exeter settle. They shift it inwards, and you can see there Kirby Myhill bringing it down.
Johnson on the charge, out to the 22. Moulton already got one try. Here they go again. Good aggressive defence, that was needed, and it could be on here for the Blues. Oof. Knocked on, not for the first time. Exeter are caught playing with fire.
Yeah, Harry Millard did well there.
Yep.
So well to stop that attacking.
Yeah, we'll get the hooker going now. Just time off, Eric.
That's how Exeter play. They like to play the wide game. He has to make a decision there. Look, he comes flying out the line. Does well.
Yeah, number 8, lads. Number 8. Just for the 10
minutes. Exeter will do that to you all day.
Send him on.
And if you're coming out the line like that, if you're shooting out the line, you have to make your tackle. And Harry Millard did well there.
Well, it's Cheeky who
Absolute
has
stability.
to be the sacrificial lamb.
The
Belcher's on. Wales under 20s, hooker, plenty of experience at that level. A few games for the Blues.
I'll make sure they're rock solid, but don't step off it out.
What's Richard Hodges thinking now?
Okay.
I'm probably thinking they need to come away with some points now. The first couple of minutes were all about the Blues. What a great start, but Exeter come straight back in this game, using mostly their driving line out.
Bind.
They put big pressure now on Exeter. Blues try and get a line out somewhere in the Exeter's half now with a bit of possession.
Here's Johnson again on the arcing run, then the pop back inside to Ben White. Good offloading, good play from the forwards. Simmons, Exeter on fire, backs and forwards combining. Campagnaro, Dolman with a little grubber kick. Was that the right call? Charge down. Where's this one? Straight into the hands of the Exeter player, and it's Michele Campagnaro's first try in Exeter colours. He's waited 15 months, but finally he gets the try, and Exeter score a third.
That's exactly what Richard Hodges would not be thinking. All the way from Exeter's own half, right underneath their post, and that man Campagnaro scores 11. Look at this pickup. But what they do so well, they keep the ball alive every opportunity. Look at all the support. Welsh does well there, one-handed offload, Campagnaro, and you think just when you want to keep the ball in hand, Dolman kicks it. They don't deal with it. It's charged down, and great pick-up off the feet there by Campagnaro.
Simple stuff for Simmons, and then all of a sudden the Chiefs are up to 21. Campagnaro, so important to highlight how impressive he was in that campaign in 2015 for Italy, and then this season, or his career, seems to have stalled slightly here at Sandy Park.
Yeah, a little bit down to injury. I remember him scoring a couple of tries against Wales at the Principality Stadium. It's certainly one to look out for today, but the Blues, they're going to have to try and slow, I think, the game down a little bit now, try and get their breath back, try and get a bit of possession, a little bit of structure back into their game.
Johnson touched in the air, but it went forward. Smith slings it out to Belcher, the substitute hooker. Ben Jones does well to recover there. This is Aled Summerhill, the most experienced of the Blues backline. Some indecision again. And Dane Blacker swallowed by some hungry Exeter defenders. He's done well to get it down, but there's no organisation here. And that one from Ben Jones is an indication that perhaps the Blues are okay off first, second phase, but when the game breaks up a little bit, the inexperience really shows.
That's when you need, that is when you need experience. But Ben Jones there tries to grab a kick, flies into one of his own players.
Good shot.
Big Damien Welch.
Exeter, quickest ability.
A former Blue, played for Llanelli, played for Pontypridd. Moved to the Scarlets before arriving here in the southwest. He can do a job despite being the oldest on the field here this afternoon. Rock solid scrum. Perfect platform. Campagnaro back inside. Huge hole. And the support for Dolman. Dolman with a kick across field. The bounce needs to favour the Blues. It doesn't. It's knocked on. So that was worrying from the Blues' perspective. Huge open door.
Such a well-worked move. Wynn just couldn't pick it off his toes. Here we go. Just over chasing there by the back row.
Let's go, wind up, scrum time, let's
Dolman
go,
kicks it through. Beale does well just to get back and cause a nuisance.
Another Welshman in the Chiefs lineup. Took a knock last week.
Second rows, ease off the pressure.
Surprising in a way to see him back on the field. Injured his hand early in the season.
Ease up.
He's been there throughout for the Chiefs. What a servant.
Set. Anything there, Claire? Ball played away. Thanks. Tackle only there. Touch.
Decent exit there from the Blues. Control things despite heavy pressure in the scrum.
Yeah, huge pressure in the scrum. They want to get that ball in and out as fast as possible. Looking now, put a lot of pressure on Exeter. Must have come off an Exeter player.
Move! Line over. Taking in that player, is it?
And that
Okay, ball still live a second.
will go all the way
Ball still
back
live.
because I think
Ball
that
still
might have
live.
been taken in. Anyway, whilst we wait to see what exactly happened, let's go down to Rob. Who have you got, Rob?
With me is Richard Hodges, rocked in this game now. Such an incredible start, but what are you seeing now?
Yeah, it's a great start. They obviously hugely disappointing to lose Jared early on, and obviously Kirby to the yellow card, and it's dealing with that driving maul threat that we've not been able to do on 2 occasions so far. And obviously they're exploiting the fact that we've taken our number 8 off because of Kirby's yellow card. So it's got to try and get a foothold on the game and deal with this firepower up front at the moment.
And when it's broken play, looking really sharp and solid, but this forward pack really get amongst it from Exeter. How do you stop that?
Yeah, exactly. You've just seen that again off the driving maul as well. So we've just got to try and make sure, mate, that we manage this yellow card out now and get back to 15.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
And again, more worrying signs for Richard Hodges and the Blues defence. They've been cut to ribbons now, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Look, the Blues hold off.
No problem with that, 'cause they lose the ball.
Means they can come around and try and disrupt the ball, but the move still works.
Absolutely, yeah.
Whitten goes straight through.
You transfer the ball so you can come around.
Just forward pass there. But there are plenty of holes in this Blues defence. It's something they're going to have to tighten up.
Yeah.
But when a team is so dominant on the front foot like the Exeter pack, it is very difficult to set yourself in defence.
Crouch.
Now, Ricky Pello's spoken about the fact that this is a must-win game for the Chiefs. 29 points to 15 they lost against the Quins. Missed almost 20% of their tackles. But it's the opposition that's struggling this afternoon. That's a decent clearance. But even more pressure will come on this young Cardiff side.
Yeah, Ben Jones has done well there. The scrum did well just to get the ball back.
The line's there, Mark.
Fairly decent kick.
Let's
Be
go,
interested to see now what Exeter do, whether they vary their game plan or whether they just catch and drive.
Well, why would you? It's Welsh, the target again. It's Simmons, who looks a busy little live wire, the open side. His brother playing a 10 this afternoon for the Chiefs.
Taking the man and past the rook.
That's
Number
sloppy.
4, taking out this guy here.
Yeah,
And Ricky Pell will be unhappy with that.
Blues are lucky there. Exeter right on the front foot. Penalised for taking a man beyond the ball.
Yeah, cool.
Here we go, look. Ball goes down. Takes Ben Jones out. Ref picks it up straight away, takes him out of the game. Can't get back in position.
Well, we're back to 15 now. Kirby Myhill's back on, as is James Sheeky. Still no sign of Jared Evans.
They need him back on, Jared Evans. Need someone like Jared Evans back on as soon as they can. Look like he had a split lip.
Yeah, they've lost direction somewhat, the Blues, without that 10. Big ask for a schoolboy to manage a game like this, against a crowd like this, against a side desperate for a victory. It's not going well this season at Sandy Park. In all competitions, the experience this side has compared to the Blues, it's telling.
Hugely telling.
Your 10.
We picked out Crean Williams at the start of the game. We've yet to see him ball in hand and how elusive he is and what a dangerous runner he is.
Now, chance to counter-attack here. Switch to cross-field. Dolman hoofs it downfield. Not much direction, and here is the man, Crean Williams. Looks up, spots some space, but it's gathered. And it's taken on by Whitten. Good power from the Irishman. Over the halfway line. Hit against his own players, the referee says. So play on. Good offloading. Ben White, the former Blue, back inside to Dolman. Dolman dances. Moulton got the first try. The first of 3 for the Chiefs. Welch waits, he's missed out. Blues defence fly up. Here he is, the Welch. All too easy for the English side right now. Moulton again in midfield. Quick possession, numbers on the far side. Just about gathered by Johnson, and he goes for the offload. That's Owlett, the tight head prop. White in standoff position. And here is the standoff. Simmons dummies, goes for the offload himself. Little grubber kick. Welch on the far side. Has he got the bounce? Yes, he has. Try number 4 for the Chiefs. All too easy.
You could sense it was coming. It was just a matter of when. They're just getting over the game now with every single carry. They're getting their shoulders through the contact. Everything they're playing is quick ball. They're dominating collisions. So much time with the ball on their hands. Great option there, off the left boot as well. Bounces lovely into Welch's hands. Lovely bit of skill that. Tight space.
Time, such a precious thing in rugby. And the Chiefs players seem to have it in abundance this afternoon. And this young man has certainly impressed with the opportunities given to him. 72 minutes last week, unexpectedly. He misses with the conversion. He's a very confident young player. Here's Joe Simmons. And that little kick by Will Chudley, perfectly measured, and you're not stopping Welch from there.
No, lovely kick. It's all too easy for Exeter at the moment. Every carry they're over the gain line. The Blues really need to do something.
Now Ben Jones restarts. He'll be staying on the pitch because Jared Evans is off to hospital with a facial injury. Fingers crossed that he's okay. It's a shame because he's such a young talent, is Jared Evans, as is this man. We keep highlighting him, Crean Williams, but it's a tough ask for him and the rest of the Blues youngsters. Beautiful break in midfield, and here's the opportunity. Oh, just when the chance opened up, the feet went. And the groans around Sandy Park suggest that even the home supporters wanted to see a better result there. Better from the Blues. Lewis in midfield. Chiefs slow the ball down, but it's still there. Jones. Moulton takes him down. Back to the blind side. Blacker. Here's Williams. Chiefs not committing to this ruck. You can see it's one long stripe of dark blue shirts, organised, awaiting the contact, awaiting the collision.
Yeah, they don't really need to commit because the Blues aren't really going anywhere. They're not getting over the gain line.
Yeah, he's moving, he's moving.
Well, how many men in that ruck for the Blues? 3 against 1. The consequences of that is that defensively the Chiefs look comfortable.
Yeah, defensively there's more numbers on their feet, there's less holes.
And the same pattern emerges again. Down the short side. Better from the Welsh side here.
Tackle only.
Aggressive defence though.
The trouble is with this now, the Blues are just playing off slow ball. It allows defences to set. They're organised.
Lewis.
Tackle!
Charges through one tackle. And Summerhill, well, he won't thank his scrum half for that pass. There's still Blues possession. Ben Jones got a bit of confidence now after that break. It's exactly what he needed. And here he is again. Oh, that's a dangerous pass. And if it would have been gathered in the first attempt, it was try time. As it is, there's still danger signs for the Blues. And there's no full back. And Backer, well, he's back. The ball beats everybody, but the danger signs immediately evident for the Blues.
Yeah, the Exeter wingers are coming off their line looking for that intercept. Here's the Ben Jones break. Look, nothing on, shows and goes. And what a tackle on himself there as well. Ben Jones tackles Ben Jones. You can see Witten there. If he catches that clean, he's away, and it's a try. Lucky for the Blues, he fumbles, but they've got to be careful of that. The way the Exeter defence comes up on the outside, they are looking for the intercept.
What's the problem? Oh, fair enough. HIA, is it? Which one? Does he know yet?
It's the first time I've ever seen a physio stopping the referee from playing. Good work from the Blues medical staff. And Summerhill, the man who departs.
Yeah. Exeter.
Just
stay
to get
where you are.
the important checks, just to make sure he's 100% right. And it's young Owen Lane who's on. I say young Owen Lane, but we should just take it for granted that these players are young.
Yeah, they all are.
What was that?
Another decent kick there. Has to make sure the ball goes out so they can't throw it in quick.
And don't forget, the Premiership is back next weekend. Bath against Bristol, 2HD on 4K UHD live. Sale Saracens next Sunday, 12:30 PM, 4K UHD. And then Leicester Harlequins. A feast of rugby here on BT Sport. Moulton, he's been a busy little man.
Tackle!
The South African. And these are the fringe players who really want to impress. And even when it's a comfortable afternoon, you can still stand out, can't you?
Yeah, you certainly can.
Welsh again. He's made a home for himself on the touchline. Not this time though. And what's Tom Shanklin thinking of a second row standing in the wings position?
Goal hogging, glory hunting. No, he's very athletic, doing well. You look, you can see him in the bottom there, just trying to keep the width. You know, if you've got someone on the touchline, it just spreads the defensive line.
What's the thinking? What's the thinking with the winger pushing him out, or him to Bodley's inside him?
Sometimes as a winger, when you're on the touchline, you want to get your hands on the ball, and you don't. You know, often it doesn't come to you, so you work yourself in. You just need someone out on the touchline. If you leave your wing, you need someone else on the touchline to keep that width. And that man there, he is athletic, and he's found a home for himself here at the Exeter Chiefs.
5 as well, Eric, I think.
Yeah, he was a Welsh nomad for some time, was Damien Welch. 34 years of age now.
Some good outcomes, lads. I'll wait to my bind, okay? I know he's got a bit
component of this Chiefs pack.
Yeah, I mean,
dominant Chief pack.
Yeah, he's good because he can cover the back row as well, so he's sort of utility. But this is an important part of the game now for everyone. Just your exit routes.
Crunch!
Making sure you've got a solid scrum. Set 1 or 2 targets if you can, and then clear your lines.
And again, the Blues are punished. We can take it for granted that the Chiefs will not be going for goal here.
No way. Straight to the corner this will go. Pile the pressure on, line out drive.
Line's yours. Nah, got to be better than that. Stay up.
Another rear guard action needed from the Blues, and
they shifted it well there.
Looks ominous.
Okay, 9, that's once.
Ben White is there at the back. White within a metre. Lewis Hughes does well to stop it. Simmons is there. He's happy. It's the TMO who'll decide though.
Yeah, for obstruction, yeah. Jeff, have a look at that one, please.
It looked like a try
yes or no.
from the first angle.
For the try before, for the man before the ruck.
Try yes or no, and possible obstruction. Stand by.
Does he get the ball down? Looks like.
Is there obstruction? Does he get the ball down? 2 questions.
He can't. There we go.
No obstruction, knock on.
He's dropped that.
Yeah.
Over the line. Let's have a look at this first before we say anything about the obstruction. I don't think that's obstruction.
Oh, the ball's nowhere near his hands. That's knocked on.
No try.
Yeah, so there's
okay, Luke, that's all we have.
Thanks, mate. No obstruction, but knock on in the build-up. Scrum to Cardiff on the 5. Happy?
Very happy.
Thanks.
Good news
no
for
try,
the Blues
knock on.
Is that it's not a try. The bad news, they have a scrum on their own 5-yard line.
I know, but this guy's just done straight to the floor. It's got to do better.
Dug him well there, the Blues, from what looked like to be a certain try, didn't it? It's tough from out there, though.
You've been in these games. You've been in these games when you're up against the brick wall. It's a key period of this match. If the Blues can survive, get into the changing rooms, refresh, recharge. But it's a tough ask.
It is, and the biggest thing you can do as a player, as a youngster, is just make sure you do your roles and your jobs. Don't worry about anyone else.
Fine. Do better, stay up. I'll make sure he stays up as well. If he hits the floor, you do your best to stay up. Okay? We're not scrimmaging on the floor. Let's go. Lad, absolute stability. Just wait. Crouch.
That's Seb Davis, the blind side.
Bind.
Whitchurch boy, like Warburton, like Bale. Like Warburton, with 6 on his back, as he wore yesterday against Australia. That's messy. But that scream of yes tells you that's the Blues who get the penalty.
Big confidence booster there for that Blues pack. Let's have a look at it now.
And it does look like it's Jack Owlett who's struggling a little bit on the tight head there.
Yeah, it's just been wheeling it around there.
Good stuff from Brad Thayer. And Owlett will be looking to be inspired by Tom Francis's performances yesterday. 80 minutes played for Wales. as a tight head, and he looked very strong against a powerful Argentine pack. Meanwhile, back at Sandy Park,
Tackle only.
it's a common theme. The Chiefs are rampant. Johnson again, such a powerful runner. Back to the short side. Witten on the right wing. And the Exeter forwards are queuing up those opportunities. Simmons powerful again. Here's his brother, back to Dolman. Scrappy pass. Here's Bodily. A minute plus for the Blues to hang on at the end of this first half. Lewis competes on the floor. He's brushed aside though. Dog leg defence, and he could see the gap. Dolman spotted it. Johnson, try again. As easy as that. And it's been Sam Simmons this afternoon so far. Destructive with ball in hand at the breakdown. And he closes the first half with a try for the Exeter Chiefs. Happy man, Ricky Pello.
The decision there was made for Exeter with a dog leg in defence. Harry Miller just coming out of the line on his own. I think just gives Dolman an easy option, an easy hole to run through. You work as units in the centres. If one's out the line, you're out the line.
He's enjoying himself. There's Sam Simmons. And here's his brother, Joe. It's easy to say who the younger brother is. And Simmons with a tough conversion. Doesn't get over there. But a comfortable first half for the Simmons brothers and for the Exeter Chiefs. 5 tries in the first half. They lead by 31 points to 10. A lot of work for the Blues coaching staff and the players. At half-time, it's Exeter 31, Blues 10. All the analysis after the break.
31-10, the Exeter Chiefs lead the Cardiff Blues half-time in this Anglo-Welsh encounter. The Blues, young, inexperienced team, got off to a blistering start. That try from James Sheeky. But then the Chiefs started to go through the gears. The power game cut in 5 tries. That, the bonus point try from Damien Welch. Now we got some Emirates FA Cup action coming for you this week here on BT Sport. Wednesday 7:30, Brackley against Gillingham. That's on BT Sport 1 HD. And then the next day, on Thursday, Dover against Cambridge United, also on BT Sport 1 HD, but the benefit of that one being on 4K UHD as well. So time just to sit back and relax a little bit. We are in the away team's dugout. It's all been redesigned. They extended these stands for the World Cup matches. And I have to say, Tom Shanklin, these not quite as comfortable as the home team dugouts. These seats aren't heated.
No, they're not. They're not. Probably just saving on electricity more than anything, mate.
Don Armand, great of you to join us. Thank you very, very much indeed. For the opening few minutes of this game, you would have been a bit nervous. We talked about a very young, inexperienced Cardiff Blues team, but they came out of the blocks.
Yeah, I think any teams, the youngsters are going to try and prove a point. If you looked at the memorial service, they had their bags lined up for afterwards. I think they planned a bit ahead, so they did a bit of a 30-second blast and they got into the game, and you could see it. You know, they got into our half, we made a mistake, they're good D, and they got themselves in the lead very quickly.
Tom, it was James Sheeky who crossed for them, and you kind of expect it, don't you? They're young, they're enthusiastic, they're stupid, they don't know any better, they don't know what the script is, and they pile into it.
It was a dream start. It was one hit up, get over the gain line very well. They sort of take Exeter by surprise a little bit. Kirby Meyer with a lovely sleight of hand to get Sheeky over under the post, and you just think, wow, this is incredible. You know, can they continue this form like that? And it was a well-worked try and something that they needed really to really start the game big for them.
And Don, when a team is struggling a little bit, I'm not really saying that Exeter Chiefs were struggling, but they would have been rocked back a little bit. You go to what you know best, and one thing that everyone knows that the Chiefs do so well is getting the ball up tight and just grinding that ball over the try line.
Yeah, I think if you went and saw the next phase of play or the next penalty we had, I think we had about a 20-meter maul, and then when we got close to the line, you know, our pick and goes forwards, draw their forwards in, and if we can get over the line,
yeah, try there for Sean Moulton. Then there was the penalty try as well. And Tom, you've got to feel sorry for Cardiff Blues, because they lost 2 key players. They lost Myhill to a yellow card, but also they lose Jared Evans to what looked like a really nasty face injury. He's out certainly for this game. He might be out for a while. That's not what they needed.
No, it's not. You know, a yellow card down to 40 minutes is going to be tough against a team like Exeter, but to lose Jared Evans, who we said at the start of the programme is really the experience, he's going to be one that's going to be guiding them, putting them in the right areas, and they lost him early doors, so it's difficult. You've got a guy called Ben Jones coming on who's still at school, and you know, he's going to run onto this pitch and he must be like, wow, what am I doing? I've got maths and history tomorrow. so it's totally different, but you know, they can't really do too much at the moment, especially against, you know, the maul, the driving maul, the scrum, because they're the dark arts where experienced teams are going to get the upper hand.
I could get used to this, just sitting back, chatting rugby, nice big comfortable chairs. Don, what about the subsequent tries? We started to see the Chiefs open up a little bit. This is what they've been missing this season a bit.
Yeah, I think if the try that's been shown now is brilliant between forwards and backs. You know, you have backs carrying it up here, and you have the lock forward Damien Welsh in support after being carried there. That's something special, and I think it's good to get the guys to show their skills away from set piece, and then when they go back into set piece, they do exactly the same thing to do their job.
Yeah, just when you think Cardiff have snuffed that try, you know, Campagnaro comes from nowhere to pick up the ball, and you know, only a European can have his hair like that.
Yeah, says a man who looks as though he's wearing a bathing cap.
Just jealous.
The important thing, though, Tom, here is, of course, you've got to keep your concentration. The game opens up. It can sometimes be a bit too easy, but that's not what Ricky Pello and Rob Baxter are going to be watching. They want to see concentration on these players' minds.
Yeah, they do. They have to work in units. As you saw there, Hallie Millard shoots out the line, creates a hole. They have to work in their units very well.
Well, they certainly had the advantage, the Exeter Chiefs, 31 points to 10. They lead the Cardiff Blues. Everyone very, very happy indeed. It's perfect conditions here. And maybe at the end of it, the hardiest will make a quick trip down to the beach. It's not too far away. We'll see you after the break. 31-10, the Chiefs lead the Blues here at Sandy Park in the Anglo-Welsh. Cricket tonight, second test, drawing Greg James and his guests from the studio from 11 o'clock. Australia against South Africa. The Aussies having a miserable time of it. Can they bounce back? But our time now is to focus on this second half. What response from the Cardiff Blues?
That's the question. And a very jovial place at half-time, Sandy Park. Home supporters happy with that first half performance. One eye turned already to Newcastle away. And the question is, how many of these players will be on that plane or on that bus or on that train to the northeast? This is the kind of game where you can impress, force your way into the first team, force your way into the Aviva Premiership, and make a mark.
9, Cardiff, use it.
And the question is, in terms of the Blues, what was the message to these youngsters? How can they turn this around, Tom Shankland?
I don't think it'd be that jovial in the Cardiff Blues dressing room, but they need to start making some bigger collisions. They need to try and slow down the Exeter ball. At the moment, every time Exeter carry the ball, they manage to get over the gain line. They're creating fast front football, and the Cardiff Blues need to slow them down.
Well, Campagnaro penalised off his feet. And here's a man who's given an unexpected opportunity. That was Campagnaro. Here's a youngster. And when we mean youngster, we mean youngster. Ben Jones, schoolboy, 17 years of age. Came up here perhaps to get a taste of first team action. The guess, I would have presumed the guess would have been 5-10 minutes at the end of the game. He comes on after 8 minutes. Jared Evans on his way to hospital. And he's shown glimpses of the talent that's got him in this squad.
Yeah, he has. You know, we saw a lovely break from him in the first half, but he wouldn't quite have expected to get on so early. But he's been thrown into the deep end, and there's not much else he can do.
Gareth Smith playing 10 there. Myhill, the best pass. Millard does well to sweep up. Tidy things. And again, the same pattern as that one stripped out defence for the Exeter Chiefs. And the Blues are bunched and very narrow.
Yeah, there's a lot of one-up runners from the Blues. They need to get themselves back in their units.
Millard straight down Exeter's throats. What promised to be a possible attack for the Blues ends up a bit of a damp squib. Here they come again. Well weighted, well taken. And Simmons again showing his talent. And the match reverts to tight. Townsend is on at scrum half. Good,
that's
aggressive defence. That's better. That's what Tom Shanklin wants to see. Campagnaro says, sit down, and away he goes. The Italian's enjoying himself. He could have gone back on his feet. Townsend, White, Welch again hugging that touchline. They're queuing up now. Allwell, the tight head prop. Oh, Owlett, I should say.
Yeah, you look at the Exeter now, they've got two waves of attack, front runners and runners behind.
Floated pass to Simmons. Simmons back inside. Good stuff from the Chiefs. Campagnaro with the offload to Hans Hendrickson. Delicious from the Chiefs. Delicious stuff. Too easy in the end, but great combination work. And a try, an easy walk in for Hendrickson.
Yeah, those two be very pleased with the way Exeter attacking. You can see they've got two lines, often using the front line as dummy runners, putting it behind, playing with a lot of width. Finish it so well. Using the 2-4s as dummy runners. Witten throws a bit of a lob over the top. And managed to keep the ball alive. And Campagnaro featured twice in this move. So strong, and manages to offload to Hendrickson. Look at his body angle now. As it comes to Campagnaro, gets so low, bumps off the first defender. And Henriksen does well to grab that ball out the air. I mean, the Blues have to be careful now this doesn't turn into a all-you-can-eat buffet for Exeter. They need to try and get themselves back in. They need some field position.
You can see the Exeter forwards want to get involved in the wide channels, in the tight play. Everyone wants a piece of this action. And the conversion is perfectly executed as well. Rob, you've been speaking to the coaching staff. What did people say at half-time?
Well, perfectly personified in what we've just seen there. The Exeter Chiefs really focusing about carrying hard with a focus on their defence. Campagnaro pretty much testifying that he can run pretty hard there. And similarly in Cardiff, they kept talking around discipline, not giving them opportunities and making those tackles, which in this instance didn't happen.
Key messages. Cut back on the mistakes would have been another one.
Cardiff away.
And Ben Jones is stepping up to play with the big boys. When you make one mistake, you're punished.
Plenty of space there to put the ball behind. Just gives Exeter now a huge opportunity to pressure the Cardiff line out. You can just see out a shot there. The Cardiff boys just moving away from the line out, lowering the numbers, trying to win the ball firstly.
Happens to... Yeah, but I'll bring them up.
It's easier to win short line out, so knocked it down a couple of numbers.
Myhill to down. They've gone up the 22 with Shiki.
No.
So can't go straight for touch. Ben Jones does well. Peppers the touchline. Witten gathers. Bodily. Everyone fancies a go now. Simmons. Perfect execution on the kick. He looks a classy player, doesn't he, Sam Simmons? Joe Simmons, I should say, the outside half. Sam, his brother. White. Witten intercepted, and away goes Seb Davis. Has he got the legs? The big man goes for it. Looks for support, and will he take the whole Chiefs backline on? And he offloads. Good stuff from Seb Davis. Blues looking for the opportunity, hands at the bottom of the rack. It's slow possession for the visitors. Myhill. No scrum half.
Ball is out.
Lewis, bit of crossing there. We're going to play on though. Sixes and sevens again. And here's the man that started things off, Seb Davis. Bit of width, Millard, crossfield kick. Oh, terrific stuff from the Blues, and they get their second try. And this time it's James Beale, and fully deserved.
Fully deserved. First real attack they've had since the opening minutes of this game. That guy there, James Beale, has been scoring plenty of tries for Cardiff RFC. Nothing on. Millard just delicately puts one through. Such a big ball. Dead ball area here. Look, first option is to pass. Nothing on.
James Beale, a bit of a throwback. Still a student. And given the opportunity whether or not he wanted to concentrate on a rugby career for the time being, is going to mix both up. Stick with his studies and then perhaps turn his attention to a full-time rugby career.
Yeah, education first. It's always the way, mate.
Indeed. Ben Jones pulls it. So it's 15 for the Blues.
There's no chance of him growing up moustache from November, is there? But let's have a look. There's the intercept. Does well to goose step out of that. Fends as well, but keeps the ball alive. That's the key.
For a split second, he probably thought, you know what, I can do this. 60 metres, I can do it.
Yeah, easy.
No problem. We've all been there, Seb.
The fridge comes on the back after about 20 metres.
2 metres. And that will give the Blues a bit of confidence.
Yeah, it will. Of course it will. You know, Exeter have been just dominating this game. Really, after the first 2 or 3 minutes.
Hendrickson playing standoff. Whipped out wide to Witten. Witten. He fancies it, doesn't he? Marine Williams competes at the breakdown. Myhill up quickly. Creates a speed bump. Good angle, Ben White, and a great offload. Didn't quite go to hand, and Townsend tidies. Townsend again. Witten. I think White would have preferred that pass himself. Patient play from the Chiefs.
That's better, that's better. Competing at the ruck now. Want a turnover. It's got to go quickly though.
But it's still on Lewis, the prop. He's not held. But it's given Exeter's defence time to organise. No option then for Ben Jones. Drills it downfield to Witten, who's been busy in the second half. Bodily with his left peg spots the gap, but Jones tidies up. Jones with his left. Simmons. And Reen Williams got it all wrong. And that sums up his and the Blues' afternoon.
Trust me, that does happen to everyone. It's a nightmare when it does. It's the easiest thing to do. Catch a ball, but you take your mind off it, you lose a little bit of concentration, and that's what happens. But this guy is one to look out for.
He'll do that again.
Just how now you react to those mistakes.
That's the end of Dylan Lewis's day. And here's a man who's definitely not a youngster.
He's 16.
Anton Perkishvili, the Georgian international. And if we know one thing about Georgians, especially a Georgian who's played all across the French leagues, or the French league for half a dozen teams, he can scrummage. And that's a presumption.
He looks, and I'm pretty sure he smells like a prop, that one.
23 caps for Georgia. They don't hand those up lightly, do they?
Bred into him, isn't it, scrummaging?
Lost to Japan yesterday, Georgia.
Be interesting now to see how he goes, see if it makes a big difference to this Blues scrum.
Okay. Time on. Ball. 6.
Well, if the Chiefs didn't have enough practice of this rolling ball in the first half, they're going to give it another go in the second half.
Yep, prop is legal. Away! Ball's available.
He's done well there. He's come straight off the bench on. Taking them all down.
Moulton straight at Ben Jones, who offers very little resistance, and who blames him at only 17 years of age. Chiefs looking buoyant, looking confident. That's young Jack Owlett. Ben White, good tackle on him. He was close to the face. Johnson. Townsend. Simmons. Dancing feet from the youngster, and the offload. Terrific stuff from Simmons. And the try comes in the end for the Chiefs to Townsend. And that was a simple finish for him after the wonderful dancing beat of the young outside half.
Lovely try. pretty easy in the end. Space opens up.
Yes.
No one really touched him, but has a presence of mind to fall down, see his support coming. And Townsend, he's looked sharp since he's come off the bench, hasn't he? But this guy here is really running the show today. Simmons at 10.
The master and the apprentice in Baxter and Pello. And Pello's in charge, apparently. Is that how you like it? When you're told, right, you're in charge, but your boss is going to sit next to you anyway.
Yeah, a bit like Wales with with Warren Catlin and Rob Howley.
Yes. And now the Chiefs approaching the half a century, and this man really is enjoying himself in young Joe Simmons. That's Hemi Barnes.
God, I thought it was Bonnie Tyler for Cardiff then.
And one record's been broken already. The most points the Chiefs have ever scored in an Anglo-Welsh Cup match.
Exeter, use it.
Hangs high in the air from Townsend. Williams has had a tough afternoon. We talked him up before kick-off, and those are the kinds of kicks that top-end, high-end fullbacks do make a habit of taking.
Yeah, well, if you're looking at international rugby, you look at Mike Browns and Lee Halfpenny's, Lee Williams, it's their bread and butter, isn't it? So brave under the high ball. But this is the guy we want to see with a bit of space. You know, ideally we'd like to see him in wide channels, we'd like to see him counter-attack, but hasn't really had much ball in those positions, has he?
So if you're running this with Gareth Smith in charge, or the captain on the field, and you're the Blues, what do you do in this position? Is it rear guard action, damage limitation, or do you go for it?
You've got to go for it, because you know you're so far behind, but you have to do, you know, your basics well. And you've got to make sure you look after the ball when you go into contact. You're in the right position. You know what you're doing. That's my point. Basics like that of just catching and passing.
Millard does well to tidy up, and then it's untidy off the back of the ruck. There's Owen Lane with the red and white head guard.
Tackle!
I mean, what these lot of youngsters will learn is that, you know, when they're playing against other academies, you know, they can probably dominate, but when you're playing against, you know, grown men like Exeter, you have to run that little bit lower into contact. You know, you have to do things differently.
It's been a real baptism of fire for some of these boys. Gareth Smith's been there. 20-odd games for the Blues at this level and higher. It's been a tough afternoon for him and his teammates. It's been better in the second half. More composure. As Ben Jones quite got the distance.
Off his head, play on!
But it's worked well. And that's straight into the hands of the Blues player with the offload. And Reen Williams gets the run in. Blacker thought he was there. The ankle tap stopped him. And it's the third try for the Blues.
Reen Williams poaching there. That'll do him the world of good. Nothing much on here. Ben Jones just hoofs it as high and hard as he can. But what they do, well, they just get off the ground. They just get off the ground. Dan Blacker nearly in, but Reen Williams right on his shoulder. Need a little bit of luck. Was a little bit of luck there. Good shot there.
Replacement information for Exeter Chiefs leading the field, 13 again.
Well, 3 substitutes on for the Exeter Chiefs.
Replaced by 22 sponsored by Kids.
More youngsters coming on. Jack Innard, Josh Caulfield, both making their debuts. And Harvey Skinner. 3 players getting the first taste of Exeter Chiefs rugby. And it's the end of the road for Campagnaro. He's had a good afternoon in his first start of the season. Good shunt there.
Well, you can kick the ball a long way.
Yes.
Excellent.
Good pressure as well, good chase, good kick, good stuff from the Blues. Executing the basics.
Huge kick down there then by Ben Jones. Good chase there by Beale. And that chase results in a bit of a misfired kick. And the Blues get a real good attacking opportunity now. Just outside Exeter's 22.
Get your camera out, Instagram time here at Sandy Park. Back to the action.
Good angle.
Blues have taken an hour, but finally they've woken up. Or is it a case that the Chiefs have gone to sleep a little bit? Williams. Good strength. Bounces one man off. Blacker. Here's the big Georgian. Blacker. Comfortably read. And then the mistake, and that's a try. And Williams has got a second in a minute.
We're going to have to take a look at that. Not
Yeah, Jeff, any reason I can't...
initially it looked like one.
Any reason you can't award the try?
Yeah,
Stand by.
I'm pretty sure it's fine, mate. Just want to double check. Just looking at the offside line as well.
Looked like a simple take. Comes off his chest.
Well,
that's not picked up. It's a try time.
That's a try.
I mean, can you just show me an angle, make sure he's onside from the original kick, please, Jeff?
And Harry Strong and Harvey Skinner.
Yeah, just coming. Yes.
Will not want to see this again.
Here, let's have a look at it. What should be a normal catch and a normal mark.
Ready,
drops it. Can't pick it up.
Okay, Luke, that's everything.
Yeah, he's onside, Jeff, and the ground is fine. Try scored.
Looks good to
Thanks.
me.
Try for Cardiff, scored by 15, Ron Williams.
Well, this is better.
This. He didn't give up his chase there, just kept going.
Nice.
We have a game on. Perhaps too much to expect a comeback. You never know.
They'll still have something to cheer about, won't they? When they review this game tomorrow, they've still scored some tries. I mean, Exeter will have taken their foot off the gas a little bit. You have to when you're that far in front.
The easiest angle side for a left footer. They're never easy from the touchline for a conversion. He's given it a good effort. Not quite, Ben Jones. Now, for Ricky Pello and Rob Baxter, perhaps being 45 points up is a good time for these players to make a mistake, because they won't be making it again, because they'll get a rollicking, will they?
Yeah, they will. They'll certainly get a bit of a rollicking the next day when they're reviewing the tapes. Something as simple as that as well. It should be bread and butter, that. Catch the ball, mark it, clear your lines.
Inside. Tackle only.
3 converted tries, the difference. Stranger things have happened.
See, what the Blues are doing well this half is their kicks are long. They're not really kicking to compete anymore. They're kicking it long down Exeter's half. They're trying to get a bit of territory.
Number 1.
Kirby Myhill's game's over. Liam Belcher's back.
Just hold.
Will Norton
Yeah.
is on as well.
There you go.
And Norton, number 17, is a big boy.
Time on.
20 stone, 6 foot plus. Here he is with space and time, Reen Williams. We waited for this to happen. Didn't quite get away from his defender. Oh, Ben Jones, confused message, and this could be gift wrapped for the Chiefs. They're queuing up on the outside, and they're doing their best to make a mess of it. But the try was an inevitability despite Exeter's hardest efforts. And it's Johnson who takes it.
What the classiest bit of skill we've seen all afternoon here. What a poor, simple error from the Blues leads them into this position. No one really dominating that. The scrum half needs a voice, he needs a clear direction of who wants the ball. And towards the end there, 3 extra players could have scored that try. This is when you find all the forwards hanging on the wings. Props, second rows, they all want to get on the score sheet.
And that looks a pretty serious injury.
Always have to be careful with injuries to the neck. Got to make sure that it's treated correctly.
This week it's the Anglo-Welsh. Next week, BT Sport is back to the bread and butter, the Premiership. Bath against Bristol, 4K UHD live Friday. Then Sale Saracens on Sunday, followed by Leicester Harlequins, all in 4K UHD live here on BT Sport. And whilst we just check to see if this injury to Harry Millard is okay, let's just see if he's okay.
So look how he does it. There he is. He gets back to his feet.
We're going to crack him with a conversion, right?
Just gets caught around the neck, doesn't he, with the clean out. Looks like could have jarred it. Simmons there could have scored himself unselfishly. Gets it out to Johnson.
A bit of a stinger, I think. Joe Simmons. He's one who's grasped this opportunity. Shortest of run-ups. He gives it some welly though. No. No success for Simmons. And Ricky Pello is speaking to Rob.
Well, Ricky, we've got the half-century score now. Is it a case of really setting scenarios for the next 15 minutes?
I think we've got a good stranglehold of the game. Yeah, the boys work really hard with our carrying to create the space to allow us to play. We are going through a little bit of a wobble at the minute where I think both teams are looking to play and erring quite a bit. So I think from this perspective now we'll look at our defence and finishing strongly with that and not conceding any more points. But the boys are working really hard. Yeah, we've scored some good tries and fair play to Cardiff. They're coming back at us and looking to play as well. So it's been a real entertaining game. Few errors here and there, but really pleasing.
And taking it off Will Chudley and Phil Dolman at half-time, has that made a difference?
Not at all. It's a good experience, obviously, for Stu Townsend to come in. He's been playing down at the Cornish Pirates week in, week out, and to get a game like this is important for him. So we lost a little bit of direction, but we had a period where we ripped that back off Cardiff, and we're looking now to finish strongly in the last sort of 15 minutes.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Yeah, fascinating to hear the coaching setup talking about scenarios. I won't go as far as to say this is a training run-up now, because there's still a game to be won, there's still points to be proven, but it's also an opportunity just to test those little intricacies, just to get things right.
Yeah, it's also an opportunity to try different things as well that you possibly might not in a tighter game or a more important game. So still plenty to play for. Similarly with the Blues as well, they'll want to try things. Just saw the crossfield kick It was nearly right on the button, just a little bit too far. But they've got to be impressed with this guy Simmons at 10.
Yeah.
He's had a good game today so far. Directed them well, kicked well, organised well.
Tom Lawday is on for the Chiefs. He's a big ball carrier as well, the youngster. Good flat ball, Henriksen. That was rather high. It doesn't bother him, and he's still going, the big man. Johnson. Was that deliberate? Play on anyway. There's an advantage being played. That is Lawday. Lovely weighted pass. Just pause for that fraction of a second, right, Simmons. Townsend looking to snipe.
Just around the neck, penalty only.
There's a penalty coming for a high tackle. And they want more than that. White still plays a bit of volleyball. Still on. The referee sensibly is keeping play going. Good step for Henriksen. He's got one try. But busy in the second half. Welch got an early try to the big second row. Simmons. Little pop pass back inside.
No advantage coming
No
back.
advantage. Back we go.
Number 6, started on the chest, right to the neck. Okay, when you're ready.
Interested to see what they're doing now. Corner. Simmons at 10. He's taking the ball flat. He's looking for any of the Cardiff defenders to shoot out the line. He's got options all around him. That's what the penalty is for. High tackle.
Not much in that.
No. You know, you're talking about a second row and a scrum half.
Seb Davis is a big man for flankers, isn't he? Number 6 there with a skull cap. He's impressed. A few breaks. Decent around the park. Simmons again. That one was high.
Jeff, just double check there's no little red penalty, please.
Could be a yellow. Second one on the bounce.
Well, 2 in a minute.
Thank you.
Seb Davis again, wasn't it?
Hang on, shoot.
It's just reaction though, isn't it, a lot of the time?
Cardiff, 2 penalties in session high. Cut it out.
No. Sensible referee in a way from Luke Pearce.
Let's have a look, here it comes.
That's a clothesline, WWE style.
He sort of pulls out, doesn't he, last minute? He doesn't go down to the ground with him, but surely when you're a scrum half and you're 5'4", every tackle's going to be high.
This looks bad for the Cardiff Blues and comfortable for the Exeter Chiefs. Another try from the rolling maul. This time the substitute hooker Jack Innan on his debut. He gets a try and the Chiefs are heading for a very comfortable victory.
It was a bit of back to basics there, wasn't it? The Cardiff Blues were sniffing themselves back into the game. But a huge weapon Exeter have had all day. Just simple, body position's good, leg drive's good. All the Cardiff Blues really high. And simple in the end, isn't it? Fruinard just has to flop over. Well worked try though.
He'll enjoy that though. On your debut, get a try. Get a hooker. A try at any time. Here's something to savour. Well, they are becoming more common in a way because of the growth of the driving maul.
Yeah, they are. I mean, theoretically it should be harder because you actually got to pass the ball back now through your hands. But for someone like Exeter, it's always been a weapon they've possessed.
Two former Blues there in White and Welch, and they've enjoyed themselves. Johnson, desperate to get back into that first team for the Chiefs. Williams gets man shortly after receiving the ball, but he's laid it back well, has Reen Williams. Crunching hit in midfield by Simmons. Still Cardiff Blues possession. Nice little offload there from Hemi Barnes. Taken quickly by Rodri Davis. He can't be touched and away he goes. He's looking for Ben Jones. Ben Jones arrives, but he's going to go himself. Good tackle. They swarmed him. And in the end, one hit was too much. And the Cardiff Blues players down with cramp, and this could be on. Kick and chase. Simmons couldn't quite finish it off. Footballing skills let him down right at the end.
Got pace as well, hasn't he? Pace to burn. Look at the quick tap from Rodri Davis, goes off, runs out of things to do. I mean, you know, that's just wasted. Needs to keep hold of that. There you are, you can see Simmons just needed that ball to stay in, didn't he? Good pace from the youngster. There's nothing better than seeing a foot race either, is there?
No.
I love it.
It's all going the way of the Chiefs now. 60 points beckons. Lorde looks strong. More substitutes coming in on the action. Ben White. Townsend marshals his troops, instructs the forwards to go themselves because it's slow possession.
Extra, use it!
Use it is the call. Here's White. The pop-up pass. A metre or so to go. Simmons blocked down deliberately.
Time off. Is it to do with the knock-on? Yeah. So I've got a knock-on deliberate. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Jeff, just show me the knock-on again, please. Just check the deliberate and then further action.
Showing you the knock-on, stand by.
Thanks, man.
Here we go. Is that deliberate?
Yeah, that's fine. So yeah. Knock-on, Jeff. Can we get a wider angle?
Well, it looks deliberate to me.
Is that, firstly, is it a penalty try? Is it a yellow card?
Mate, just come in.
I'd like to see that again.
Remember,
here we go. Just gets in outside.
If it's a penalty try, a yellow card has to be given.
Yeah, well, last one again, please, mate.
Okay, that's it, Luke.
Yeah, okay, so it's deliberate knock-on, Jeff.
Correct.
Yeah. Listen, it's 5 metres out, I'm aware of that, but there is cover defence coming over.
Would you think there's enough cover coming over?
Yeah, I do. Can you just get me the number of the player?
Number 21.
Thanks, 21. I know, but it's that cynical. It's 5 metres out. Yellow card.
He's saying it's a reaction. 12. It is a reaction, but unfortunately you can't do that.
I think a yellow card was inevitable. In a tighter game, an argument could have been made that it should be a penalty try. If we'd see the wide angle again on that one, perhaps.
Yeah. But a lot of that was Joe Simmons running laterally, tying in defenders.
Anyway, back to the action.
Thanks, sir.
And everyone knows what's coming here. It's the driving maul.
Line over.
The Exeter juggernaut, and it's a walk-in. Lorde gets his first try for the Exeter Chiefs. They've crossed the 60. They are rampant in Sandy Park.
No real shock what Exeter are going to do there. Tom Lordy sneaks out on the left-hand side. No, bit of a shift round to the left, no defenders. Nice and simple. Look at his face as well. Seems quite happy to score.
It may be 60 points, but these are moments to savour for these young players.
Yeah, they are. It's you know, it's an incredible experience to.
Do you remember your first try for the Saracens, was it?
Yeah, no, I remember my first try for Wales.
Okay.
Yeah, is that right?
It's a little bit more special. But
Well, it was against Japan, so.
So, what would both corresponding coaches have learnt this afternoon, this evening? Ricky Pello and Richard Hodges. What will be on the notice board on Monday? Tom? Should I go again? Lessons learned, Tom, from both sets of coaches.
Yeah, definitely. There's a few players in the Blues that have stood out today and held their hand up. But Exeter have been just so workmanlike, especially set piece.
Williams, injection of pace. Training with the Welsh squad in the week.
Tackle!
60-point drubbing on the weekend for him. Oh, lovely show and go from Jones and the offload. Good 7 stuff from the Blues. They keep going the same way. Man and ball on Owen Lane. Cardiff Blues looking to finish with a flourish. Jones, crossfield kick, deflected, everyone's onside.
Second knock on.
Knocked on.
Advantage.
There's a chance to counter-attack. There's no one back with Lane. And the ball trickles down towards the far touchline. Lane on his own.
He's having a
Simmons,
go.
7, first man there. He's played 77, 78 minutes as Sam Simmons. He's right up there. Lane did well. And finally, the Blues clear the lines. Okay.
Thank you. Good call, that.
Away they go again. And this time it's Bodily. It's all a bit messy, a bit fractured. Perfect opportunity to ask you, Tom, for your man of the match.
There's been a few candidates, and obviously it's going to be from an Exeter team. Damon Welsh there has been great. Colossal in the line out, in the loose as well. But my Anglo-Welsh man of the match has to be him. Joe Simmons has done very well today. He's taken the ball flat. He's attacked the line so well. He's brought his backs and forwards into the game. He's had a great game. Certainly one to look out for.
Now, last week he had no idea he'd play 70 minutes against the Quins. This time he's had the build-up to think about it, plan his day, and he's pulled it off.
His brother's not bad either.
Early Exeter.
One last throw of the dice then, and this is the man we've been waiting to see in space all day long. Reen Williams, good angle from Barnes, and that's what you get from a young side.
Tackle!
His commitment right to the very end. And they'll keep coming, the Blues, down the short side. Lane. Barnes again. Final reflections here, Tom, for both sides.
Job well done for Exeter. They've been incredible in the close quarter stuff, the line-outs, the drives. They've attacked with width, and they've just dominated collisions. They've dominated the contact. The Blues, they'll have a couple of things and a couple of positives to be happy about. You know, they've scored some tries, they've not given up.
Here's Belcher, he's got Davis in support. Davis, does he have the legs? He's got the size, and he offloads it. In the end, the Blues run out of territory, run out of ideas, and they are comfortably beaten by an experienced, powerful Exeter Chiefs side. They get the campaign off to a positive note. They lost against the Quins in the first game. Now they taste victory, 62 points to 25. And Tom, as they look up towards Newcastle next, any players will perhaps fancy their chances to get back in that first team?
You look at Campagnaro, I thought he was very good today for Exeter. Joe Simmons possibly may feature in the match day 23. You know, Sam Simmons again showed well. So the good thing about Exeter is they've got a lot of choices. There's a lot of players fit. They don't lose too many to international duty. There are options there for them, which is a good thing to have.
Well, the tries kept flowing for Exeter Chiefs. It was the Blues who scored first. But after that early score, it was all Exeter Chiefs. A comfortable victory for them in the end. And Rob is with one of the Exeter Chiefs players.
Joining me, man of the match, Joe Simmons. How did that feel to be out there, young man?
Yeah, it was brilliant. Obviously, last week coming from a loss. Obviously, this week we focus on Cardiff and what we've got to do, and we've come out, and as a team, we're very good. So yeah, very pleasing.
And from a personal point of view, just 19 years old, bit of 20s representation, but where do you go next from this game?
To be fair, I've been playing down at Plymouth at National 1, and this is another step up. I'm just taking game by game, really, and focusing on my game, focusing on what I can do for the team, and yeah, we'll see from there, but just focusing on myself at the moment.
Hard push today, man of the match from your brother. I'm guessing he pushed the piano and you play it, but how does it feel playing alongside him?
Yeah, it's great, especially with him at 7. I mean, you can talk to him and he's there to kind of look after me, but no, it's great. Obviously, another run up in the Anglo-Welsh Cup with him is brilliant, so yeah, hopefully many more to come.
Well, I have just checked, and you are old enough to drink this, which is great to see. You've been fantastic tonight. Continued success. Anglo-Welsh, man of the match, Joe Simmons.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you very much.
Yes, nice touch there for Joe Simmons. A man of the match performance, as Rob Bickerman was saying. His brother pushed him hard. Sam Simmons, he was a star in the Sing Sevens at the start of the season. He's continuing that form. A lot of bright young things here in the Exeter Chiefs squad. And what about the Cardiff Blues as well? They heavily beaten, but still some very promising signs from some of their young players. Now, of course, the Anglo-Welsh has got a slightly different feel to it as far as qualification through to the knockout stages. There are 2 pools, 1, 2, 3 and 4, funnily enough. Pool 2 plays against Pool 3, Pool 1 against Pool 4. Here are now the full results from the weekend. Big win for the Scarlets over Bath. A narrow win for Harlequins keeps them 100% over the Ospreys. First win of the season for Bristol. Saracens back to winning ways. Northampton unbeaten now in the Anglo-Welsh, as are Leicester with their victory over the Dragons. And Wasps, they rattled in 10 tries against Worcester, and as we've just seen, big win, 10 tries as well for the Exeter Chiefs over the Cardiff Blues. So this is how the tables look. Pool 2 plays against Pool 3. Exeter top of the pile, Harlequins top of Pool 3. The pool winners go through to semi-finals. And Pool 1, they play off against Pool 4. Northampton Saints, they are top there. Leicester Tigers top the pool in Pool 4. Well, we're back to the Aviva Premiership next weekend. We've got rugby tonight on Wednesday night. Join us then from 8 o'clock. 2 legends from Bath. Nigel Redman, I locked horns with him several times. Remarkable man. And Dan Lyle, they'll be looking at the action from the Autumn Internationals, the Anglo-Welsh, and looking ahead, of course, to the return of the Premiership, where the West Country Derby, the West Country Derby, is reignited. Bath against Bristol, Friday down at the Rec. That is from 7 o'clock. Then on Sunday, we've got 2 games for you. Sale against Saracens. Join us up at the AJ Bell from 12:30. And Leicester against Harlequins. That is 3 o'clock from Welford Road. Well, the Cardiff Blues, they've had a tough time, but some of those young names, we will see them again. They would have learnt a lot from today. They were up against a fiercely competitive and far more experienced Exeter Chiefs team. They went down 62-25, but there was a period in that second half where they made life very, very uncomfortable indeed for the home team. They picked up some injuries. We wish those players well. These guys will go on to bigger and better, but it is the Exeter Chiefs who win 62-25. The thoughts of Tom Shanklin after the break. Well, the Exeter Chiefs enjoyed themselves at Sandy Park. 62-25 victory over the Cardiff Blues. Defeat in round one against Harlequins. They bounced back against a very young, very inexperienced, but a very game Cardiff Blues. It made them work hard in the second half, but all that Premiership experience and no small amount of extra poundage saw them through. Ricky Pello, great to have you here. You were the man in charge of the Exeter Chiefs. I'm sure you're delighted that you've been placed on the slight downslope with me on the upslope. There's something wrong there.
Yeah.
What was your view on today? A big win for your boys.
Yeah, it's really pleasing. The guys fought really hard. We had a period in the game where Cardiff just kept coming back at us and we're working really hard and put us under pressure, but we managed to rip the game away from them, and just really pleasing how the guys stuck at it, and the physicality we've shown in that sort of just after half-time we've got the sort of stranglehold of the game.
Those opening minutes when Cardiff got that opening try from young Sheeky, did you think, oh come on guys, you've got to wake up?
I think that's why I'm grey. I think that when things like that happen all the time, we talked about in the week about being brave and keeping ball in hand and running, but it's got to be based around good decisions, and we just tried to run then when it wasn't on, and Cardiff put us under pressure and they came up with those points, but we came through that period. I think we learned from it and then got stronger as the game went on.
You went into the change room at half-time 31-10 ahead. There's always a danger that teams switch off. They have their cup of tea, they have their slice of orange or whatever it is you have these days, and you come out a little bit asleep, but you didn't, you came straight back out. Was that pleasing? Yeah,
it was. I think Rob talked about our defence. Going to say that Cardiff are going to come out and chase the game, and so we obviously we spoke about that, and we actually created a lot of opportunities. The offloading game came into the fray. You see here with Billy Keith's offloading, and obviously Campagnard had a real good game in terms of strong carries and creating his offload. So we came through that period. We got a little bit scrappy for about 20 minutes when we made a few changes, brought in some of the younger guys, and but we managed to then rip it back at the end. So really pleasing.
Tom, what about the Cardiff Blues? At this stage you're thinking, oh my goodness me, they are hanging on, they're being absolutely outgunned, but they found some strength, some reserve of performance seemed to bubble up through them.
They did. It's tough to go out there, and I think you forget how young these Cardiff Blues players are. They would have learnt a lot today, but you could see out there, it was men against boys, it was professional rugby players, against academy guys who were still trying to find their size and shape. Exeter were pretty good, pretty streetwise all the way through the game, but the pleasing thing and the confidence and the positives that Cardiff will take is that they did score some tries.
Yeah, James Beale was the first one to cross, and you thought, well, that's going to happen. Others came, but just talk us through James Beale. Not a name that we really mentioned too much in the build-up to this game.
No, not at all. But it was an intercept off an intercept pass. Nothing much on here. Harry Millard just dinks it through, and as you can see, it is a huge dead ball area next there. And James Beale just does so well to get on the end of it. There's obviously communication going in there, which is good because you have to be flat if you're going to chase on the kicks like that. He gets in, and he scores a great try.
Reen Williams was one guy we certainly talked about in the build-up to the game. He got a brace of tries.
Yeah, he did, and you can see when Reen Williams gets the ball in hand, he's going to do something exciting. He's fast and elusive, and he just injects speed straight away. I mean, it was a bit sloppy there from Exeter. I mean, there was nothing on. They forced the Blues into a kick. It goes high up in the air. You've just got to get on the end of something, and Reen Williams went in. And similarly here, the 2 tries that the Blues scored are from misfielding kicks. So it's something for them to work on, but the Blues will certainly take it.
When you look at the video, or whatever it is you call it these days, old school video, and you see those mistakes, can you put the big scoreline to one side and say to your players, you shouldn't be making those mistakes?
I think it's a learning process. The 2 guys there, like Harry and Harvey, are 2 young guys as well. So for them to come on, they've literally just got onto the pitch, and to make those mistakes, you're not going to chastise them for it. They're young guys and they're learning. So I think what they did show after that, they came back strong and they actually didn't let those errors affect them. So I think the young guys at Cardiff, some young guys out there today, and both sides will learn a lot from it.
Yeah, that's the great thing, is I'm wanting to see how your players react. Great to have you with us, Ricky. Let's hear the words now of Richard Hodges. He was in charge of the Cardiff Blues. He's chatting with Rob Bickerman.
Okay, just your thoughts after that game, Richard?
Yeah, it's a very tough afternoon, wasn't it? I thought we started the game extremely well, and as we spoke about during the course of the first half, yellow cards killed us. Obviously we've shipped an awful lot of points, so that second half the boys deserve some credit for the way we got some return off some contestable kicks that we spoke about at half time. But it's a very tough learning environment, and it's as we spoke about before, it's a young group, very young average age, and it's how quickly we can learn these lessons to turn us into a combative force for Friday night for the Ospreys. But so it's a tough afternoon. It's the naivety of youth sometimes, but we all need to have a good look at ourselves and see what we can improve for Friday.
You speak about learnings. What are the positives to take from that game?
Yeah, I thought during the course of the second half, when we kept the ball and attack ball in hand, and we got to understand, like Ben Jones at half back, he's still in school, and it's a massive learning curve for him. But I thought he did some good out there as well, and he looked a threat, and we got some returns, I said, off some of those contestable kicks. But we lacked some leaders out there, a very quiet group, and obviously when we lose the likes of Jared early on in the course of the game as well, he's probably the linchpin of the side as well, and you're bringing then a schoolboy on as well. Lots to do, lots of work to do.
And where do these players go from now?
Yeah, as I said, we've got a couple of days off. We play Friday night at home against the Ospreys, so we will hopefully have a couple of senior boys coming back down into the group as well, and that gives us that leadership that we've just spoken about, and hopefully we can batten down the hatches a little bit and get tighter defensively. And as I said, when we got the ball, we looked quite a threat, and we scored some good tries and got that fourth try. But yeah, as I said, lots to do in a one day's working week on Wednesday.
Best of luck. Thank you for your time.
Cheers,
Richard Hodges, the man in charge of Cardiff today. Tom, let's look at that. A key moment in the game, losing Jared Evans, bringing on Ben Jones. How crucial was that to the Cardiff game plan?
It was crucial because Jared Evans is a fairly senior player with these youngsters. He's the one that controls them, puts them in the right areas. But look, Ben Jones did very well considering he is still at school to come on. He had plenty to talk about tomorrow. Takes himself out very well there in a tackle. But he kicked very well out of hand, and it is a learning curve for him. He's very, very young. I don't remember being that young playing first team rugby. So he will learn a lot. I think they'll learn about what it takes, physically to be a top flight rugby player. But they score some tries, and they did create some balls. So they'll have to take a lot of positives. We knew from the start it was going to be a tough ask for this Cardiff Blues team to come out here and win. But I think they can hold their heads fairly high.
Ricky, tell us about your number 10, Joe Simmons, and again another young lad, but a bit more of a comfortable ride behind a big old pack, but still a very impressive performance.
Yeah, he's been playing down at Plymouth week in, week out, just below the Championship, and has been learning down there in terms of developing his game. What he is very good at is obviously he's got a good attacking game. You can see there he mixes up his game well with his kicking and ball to space, and he's actually a very dangerous threat, ball in hand. So you're obviously looking at him now, getting close to the line of the offload for the try. For us, getting these younger players down and playing week in, week out and getting rugby under their belts is really pleasing. And Joe showed today that experience that he's had, he transferred into the game today.
And a bit of sibling rivalry as well with Sam, two very promising young players. Ricky, many congratulations today. Thanks for joining us. We'll let you head off and get back to your team and discuss what's what and start poring over the evidence. Tom, okay, we've seen the young guns, that possible future young stars for Welsh rugby. We saw the Welsh team in action yesterday after a poor performance against Australia. What did you make of their performance yesterday?
A win was the most important thing. It did not matter how they did it. I wasn't too cared about how well they played. They just needed to bounce back because they were incredibly poor against Australia. They needed to get themselves back on a win sheet. They did it. They played well. Move on.
And we saw the importance of key men coming back into that Welsh system. There were some big wins and some crucial ones. England, obviously, a comfortable win over South Africa, 37-21, ending that hoodoo, 10 years without a win over them. Agony again for Scotland, losing by that 1 point to Australia. Samoa, not very impressive against France, 52-8 win for them. That win for Wales over Argentina. Ireland continuing their good form against Canada. Italy suffering the backlash against New Zealand, and you'll be able to see highlights of that after this. A quick word on England, if you saw any of that game, what did you make of them?
I did see it. I thought they were good, a little bit under par. There's still plenty to come, but they managed to dispose of South Africa with no real ease. I didn't think South Africa offered too much in attack, but some big performances, especially from Youngs at scrum half.
Great stuff. Tom, great to have you here. Thank you very much indeed. Rugby tonight returns with the Premiership, of course, coming up over the next weekend, and the highlights of Italy against New Zealand coming next. Thanks for joining us here at Sandy Park. Big performance for the Chiefs. The Cardiff Blues, young, but they would have learned a great deal. See you then. Bye-bye. Thanks. Top man. Exeter Chiefs started their Anglo-Welsh campaign against Harlequins last week. Exeter Chiefs started their Anglo-Welsh campaign last weekend. Okay, welcome Cardiff Blues to Sunday. The Welsh team was their first outing in this competition. They fielded a very young, very inexperienced team. How will they lost their opening game of the Anglo-Welsh Cardiff Blues to Sandy Park. Blues' first match. Fielded very young. How would they get on? It's the Chiefs.
Try, mate. I just want to double check. Jeff? Yeah, Jeff, any reason I can't award the try, please?
Any reason you can't?
All right, yeah, absolutely, yep.
Okay, stand by, guys. We are recording, guys.
Okay. The Exeter Chiefs were desperate for a victory in their second match of the Anglo-Welsh competition, having fallen to Harlequins in their opening fixture. They welcomed the Cardiff Blues, who were playing their first game in this season's competition. They fielded a very young, very inexperienced side. How would they get on against the Chiefs at Sandy Park? Commentary from Tom Shanklin and Gareth Rhys-Owen. Okay. Well, as expected, a comfortable win for the ex-Chiefs. 10 tries, but there were moments when they were made to work hard. Just trying to think how we tail this one off. So, 10 tries, a comfortable win for the Exeter Chiefs. They move on to Premiership action. Cardiff Blues. Lots of lessons learned. Okay, fine. Okay, yeah. So a win, 10 tries and a comfortable victory for the Exeter Chiefs. They move on now to Premiership action. For the Cardiff Blues, a lot of lessons learned, but there'll be some young players there who undoubtedly we will see in future games. No, that is bollocks, sorry. Okay, fine. Ready? So 10 tries, victory, and an easy victory for the Exeter Chiefs. But there were moments when they were made to work very hard indeed by this young Cardiff Blues team. Time will tell, but we will see some of these young boys as stars of the future. Okay, cool. Top. Cheers.
Fantastic, well done, Bates.
Cool. I'll grab that paperwork. You can have that.
Joining me, man of the match, Joe Simmons. How did that feel to be out there, young man?
Yeah, it was brilliant. Obviously, last week coming from a loss. Obviously, this week we focus on Cardiff and what we've got to do, and we've come out, and as a team, we're very good. So yeah, very pleasing.
And from a personal point of view, just 19 years old, bit of 20s representation. But where do you go next from this game?
To be fair, I've been playing down at Plymouth National 1, and this is another step up. I'm just taking game by game, really, and focusing on my game, focusing on what I can do for the team, and yeah, we'll see from there. But just focusing on myself at the moment.
Hard push today, man of the match from your brother. I'm guessing he pushed the piano and you play it, but how does it feel playing alongside him?
Yeah, it's great, especially with him at 7. I mean, you can talk to him and he's there to kind of look after me, but now it's great. Obviously, another run up in the Anglo-Welsh Cup with him is brilliant. So yeah, hopefully many more to come.
Well, I have just checked, and you are old enough to drink this, which is great to see. You've been fantastic tonight. Continuous success. Anglo-Welsh, man of the match,
Cheers.
Joe Simmons.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you very much.
Okay, just your thoughts after that game, Richard?
Yeah, it's a very tough afternoon, wasn't it? thought we started the game extremely well, and as we spoke about during the course of the first half, yellow cards killed us. Obviously we've shipped an awful lot of points, so that second half the boys deserve some credit for the way we got some return off some contestable kicks that we spoke about at half time. But it's a very tough learning environment.